My name is Larry Marcus. I'm a child abuse and domestic violence advocate and survivor of both. I'm here to speak about child abuse and a combination of domestic violence and human trafficking, which all three are connected. Every 9 seconds in America, someone is sexually abused. Over 45% are minors. 200,000 cases of child abuse deaths occur in America every year. Also, only 800 cases are reported. 90% of cases go underreported. In America, this is not a new thing about child abuse. It's a global problem. In the Old Testament, there's a story of one child abuse, incest in the Bible. Ammon planned and plotted to molest his half-sister Tamar. He did, when she came to give him food at his place, he raped her. His father, David, knew about it, but he decided to do nothing but to keep it hush-hush. Ammon was his first son and his favorite. We've been keeping incest, sexual abuse, assault, hush-hush for almost 21 centuries. It's time to really deal with it and find the root cause of child abuse, sexual abuse, instead of pushing everything under the rug. We need new policies, domestic violence policies, and child abuse policies in place with better laws to enforce. And we need procedures all out throughout America, in the school system, in the church. Attorneys, judges need all to work together to try to eradicate child abuse in the 21st century. As we know, the priests, the Vatican had Child Abuse Summit conference over a week ago. It has been going on for centuries within the Catholic Church with the priests. However, they haven't come to a full conclusion what's going to be the outcome, because as we know, over the last 50 years or so and centuries prior, no priests were in prison. They went to parish doing the same kind of act, and then they were able to retire with the church keeping the secret with a pension. As the ordinary person in America, if they're caught with severe child abuse, incest, or sexual assault, or molestation, they go to prison. We need to open our laws in America and every nation globally to have the right to put priests in prison also. Not just hide it with the church, and have something in writing that they're going to have to report if they know about a priest in church in their parish. It's also the Southern Baptist denomination. They have been accused too of sexual abuse and abuse within the church and the deacons. If we have programs in place in school with psychologists in every class, in school, every school, to start speaking with kids when they're young, maybe preschool, eventually you can build up trust with children, and children will be able to tell you what's going on in their home. You can also use art as a tool, art therapy, art class, and you can have a little class like, oh, let me George, give us a sample today of what's going on in your home, or how do you envision your home? And they might put 2 parents in there, 1 parent, or they might put something explicit a little later. We cannot no longer blame that it's a learned behavior, because all child abuse and molesters is not learned, especially if it's going on since biblical times. We know it's not learned behavior. I told you earlier that Ammon, he plotted and planned to molest his sister Tamar. It was skillfully planned. It wasn't spur of the moment, I'm gonna rape my sister. It wasn't anything like that at all. Also, to make healthy families and healthy individuals as they grow up. If we can get to the root and have better programs in place and mandated, and make sure we implement the programs we have now to really follow through, we might have less substance abuse, homicide, unwanted pregnancies, divorce, homelessness. It's all connected, mental illness. It can affect the majority of people that way, but there are some people who have escaped all those ills in their life, but that's not many. Also, it has been proven in the prison system on death row, the majority of homicide cases, if you go back in their closet, their life, they were all sexually abused. Human trafficking is another problem. Over 70% of kids involved, young people involved with human trafficking were sexually abused too. That's all they know. And the adults who get them involved with human trafficking, sometimes it's their own family. And people don't want to talk about that. So we need to have a real honest conversation with child abuse, domestic violence, and human trafficking is all connected. It's a human rights issue. Children are little people. They should be treated just like adults. Just because they're younger, it doesn't mean they don't have the same feelings. And I don't believe personally in the death penalty for child abuse, whatever the case is. However, I do believe in imprisonment for life for severe child abuse cases and sexual abuse cases. Also, in America, we have this code of silence within certain communities where we would not tell on our family member, relative, or the teacher, the Boy Scout leader, or the deacon in the church, or the little man around the corner who has the corner store who was giving me candy every night, and then he's doing illicit acts to me. We have to break that code of silence. We have to make people feel comfortable, especially children, that it's not your fault, and not putting a stigma on it and start judging people about what happened in their past. Everyone has a past. Yours might be different than child abuse or incest, sexual assault, or rape. Also in America, we need to hold our politicians accountable to make better laws, not just laws from state to state. We need federal laws in place that would mandate the whole land in America that we're going to follow suit. And judges, this is really important with judges, they need to weigh more carefully if the child needs to be removed from the home permanently, which I'm for, or are you going to get therapy for the father, the boyfriend, or the mother, and then the child can come back home? My point is, a child never forgets what someone did to them. They don't need to be watching them all day long in their face, even though they're not touching them. There's other kind of abuse it's not even sexual abuse. The person doesn't even touch you. And we haven't talked about that in America either, because everything seems to be taboo. However, if we get to the point where we're going to be honest in the church, all denominations, in the legal aspect, health professionals, the educational department, of course the judges, we can probably fix our system and eradicate more child abuse. It's not going to be done completely. It's always going to be some, but we won't have as much, especially if we can start educating at a very young age. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Child Abuse Prevention Month should be every month, 365 days of the year. We have to do more than have seminars, conferences, talk about it, posters, and have little events all over our nation. We must do more. It's a 365-day job. Our children are our best asset. They grow up to be adults. I'm standing here today by the grace of God. We need plenty of Valerias to stand here long before I'm going and other advocates of child abuse and domestic violence. We need to keep this going so they can be strong in their mind and physically to be able to help other children to get well, heal, and to deal with the root cause of child abuse and domestic violence and why grown men want to sell off and use children for profit. Because these are grown adults who are using kids as profit, and they know how to prey on kids. They use psychology. They know kids who are vulnerable, kids who have no father in the home, broken homes, and they just take them in because they already know they're needy and they want it. They want to be wanted and they want to be loved, so the kids go along with them. Young teenagers go along with them because they don't know any better. And after a while, they're captured with human trafficking and it's hard for them to get out.